Hello and welcome to my review of Reaper, Tale of a Pale Swordsman. And once again, hooray for Humble Bundle, because without it, I probably never would have heard of this game. It also helps me be cheap as hell, but that's not the point. The point is that as soon as I started playing this game, I knew I had to review it, so let's go. Reaper was released on Steam in early 2014, but from what I could gather, I think it was released on mobile first? Maybe? Who cares? It was made by a studio based in the Czech Republic called Hexage, and I guess it's their most popular game because it's the only one with a Wikipedia page. The game is an action RPG where you play as Death himself. Or herself. Whatever. What matters is, the main character is a cute depiction of Death who wouldn't be out of place in an episode of Ruby Gloom. Oh, and just as a side note, I won't be looking at the mobile game in this review. It's free for the first 10 levels on the Google Play Store, so there's no real risk in finding out if you'll like it or not. Besides, it's the exact same game, just with touchscreen controls. Our story begins with the Wilderlings and the Imperials. They both fought over the vast wilderness because the Imperials wanted it for resources, and the Wilderlings basically just wanted to be left the fuck alone. Eventually the war stopped, because everyone got bored, I guess, and while there are less fights now, they all still hate each other. But then, in some random cave, a swordsman awoke. Well, that's how the game describes it at least, but for real though, are we talking something like, he arose from the underworld to destroy all those that would dare oppose him? Or are we talking, he woke up from a 1,000-year-long nap and left the cave because he really wanted pancakes? Details like that make all the difference. Actually, shit, looks like he just woke up for a tutorial. The controls are simple enough if you're using the keyboard. It's the usual arrow keys to move and space to jump. But the attacks are where the game gets interesting and a bit more unique. Just by standing near enemies, you auto-attack them by just slashing at them repeatedly. These simple attacks build up rage, as represented by the skulls at the top of the screen. When you have rage, you can perform more powerful attacks. You can slam enemies, uppercut them, or this spinning attack thing. I guess it's kind of like Sonic if he had a sword. Wait, shit, bad example. But speaking of Sonic, you also have a dash attack. The dash attack annoyed the shit out of me. Maybe it was just my keyboard, but the way you do a dash attack is to double tap the arrow key of the direction you want to go. But sometimes when I was playing, I was just trying to move away from an enemy and ended up dashing into a pit. Damn it! You would think that it would be better if you could use WASD and then dash with Q and E, but there's no option to rebind the controls. That's why I'm glad to say that the game is playable with a standard controller as well. And while I'm sure there are game controllers built specifically for the PC that work great, I can't afford that shit. But I do have an Xbox controller, so if you're in the same boat, just buy one of these things and start playing. Anyway, this game is much better when you play with a controller. You really feel more in control with it, since you're not trying to attack with just arrow keys anymore. Anyway, after you finish the tutorial, you come across an old man in the woods who pays you to protect him. This is where you first see the overworld map. On this map, you can travel to different locations, accept quests, or buy new gear. A big part of the map is that sometimes when you're traveling, you can get attacked and thrown into battle. As you can accept quests from both the Wilderling tribes and the Imperials, it becomes immediately clear that you're playing both sides. But nobody really seems to notice or care, probably because you kill anyone that might. I mean, if you're strong enough to do it. I got stuck a lot of times in this game because once you begin a quest or decision that involve fighting, you have to repeat the fight until you win. There's no backing out if you realize you're not strong enough. Although, even your failed battles will give you a few experience points, so it's not a total waste. As you play through the game, you collect gold and experience during battle. You also get gold from doing quests. The gold is used to buy weapons, armor, and skill upgrades. While it's simple, the game is pretty good about giving you a choice in things. For instance, if you don't think someone is giving you enough gold, you can demand more, or in some cases, just slaughter the fuck out of them and take all their money. Also, the dialogue you choose from basically gives you two options, to either be a heartless bastard who's only interested in gold, or just a swordsman with a cold attitude. But what else would you expect from a guy with no soul? Just because he's adorable doesn't mean he cares. Trust me, people with pet cats already know exactly what I'm talking about. Speaking of adorable, that's what the design of this game really is. The art style is colorful and cute, and overall it's just very nice to look at. I can't really speak for the music because there's only 2 tracks, but they aren't bad, and since there's no spoken dialogue, you may as well just mute it and listen to your own music. That's what I did. Also, if you don't feel like dealing with quests or characters, the game has a mode called Dark Harvest. It's a separate game where you just fight enemies in battles, collect gold, upgrade weapons, and keep fighting. It's as fun as the fighting in the main game, but I still prefer the main game more. In the end, the biggest problem I had with the game was not being able to rebind the controls. It wasn't that big of a deal for me because I could just play with the controller, but some people prefer to play with the keyboard, and not having the option to change the controls around is a little odd. But like I said, that was the only real problem I had. So this game did have its issues, but that doesn't make it less fun to play. The gameplay is pretty solid, even if the game itself can be a bit unforgiving at times. And it lacks certain options, yes, but it's pretty cute and good for killing some time with some action-packed fighting. For $5, I'd say it's definitely worth it. And that's all I've got for now, but I did want to apologize for taking so long with these reviews. This semester is kind of kicking my ass right now, but hopefully not for long. So if you want to see what's next, subscribe, and the next review will be posted soon. I promise. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.